All new tonight at 5 here on News 8, tracking the storm headed our way. Clear and calm in New Haven right now, but changes and wet weather is heading our way. Here's Fred.
Yes, flood watch in effect for part of Connecticut, Darren, and right now just scattered showers out there. We go wider with the view. Plenty of rain off to our west. It's all heading our way. I'll have the timing on the heaviest rain coming up.
All right, Fred, a developing story on the campaign trail. Finch is out. Coming up, we'll hear from Bridgeport's mayor. Why is he dropping out? And we'll tell you who he's throwing his support behind.
Also going on the attack.
They had a profit last year of $919 million.
That's Governor Malloy responding to hospitals in our state complaining about his budget cuts. Our chief political correspondent Mark Davis has the latest on the budget battle.
And protecting the children of domestic violence, we'll tell you how the state handles cases involving kids after another deadly domestic shooting in our state.
Those stories and a lot more coming up. News 8 at 5 is next.
Live. News 8 at 5 starts now.
That is the calm before the storm. Clear and dry right now as we take a live look out in New Haven, but it looks like we are in for a wet week ahead. We're going to start with the Storm Team 8 weather alert. Looks like we might have some messy weather. We're glad you're here, everybody. I'm Darren Kramer.
And I'm Erin Logan, and Craig is on maternity leave. With the rain, winds, and the way the tides are going to hit, we could see some coastal flooding. We've got your back tonight with live team coverage. Meteorologist Justin Goldstein live in East Haven with what you need to do to get ready if you live on the water. But first, we start with senior meteorologist Fred Campagna. Timing is it all tonight, right, Fred?
Absolutely, Erin, and the timing not great with this one for tomorrow morning's commute. That looks like when we'll see some of the heaviest rain from this storm system. A flood watch is in effect as you get into the northern part of Connecticut from Litchfield County to Hartford to Tolland to Windham. No flood watch in effect along the shoreline. Temperatures right now mid-70s to low 80s. It actually has a real steamy feel out there, and there are some stray showers here and there. Wider view shows some heavier rain off to our west. A lot of this, which is in northern New Jersey right now, moving straight to the north, going to miss us. Some of these showers right along Long Island will cross the Sound and then move into the shoreline from New Haven west through Fairfield County in the next hour or so, and those showers will be coming and going throughout the evening. Even bigger picture, and you can see this pretty good wall of water that's heading in our direction, and this is what's coming through late tonight and early tomorrow. So as we go hour by hour, notice the scattered showers overnight, then becoming more widespread by late tonight. So the early part of tomorrow morning's commute, notice the clock, 5 o'clock in the morning. We have some locally heavy downpours out there. Temperatures are still in the low 70s. And as we head through the morning hours, still dealing with the rain, and there could be some heavy downpours, the heaviest of which are expected to be northern Connecticut and points north. So a soggy morning commute. We're not expecting widespread flooding in most of Connecticut from this system as it comes through, but it will be enough to slow down the commute. 11 o'clock in the morning, still dealing with some showers, and they'll continue through the midday hours. Can't rule out the rumble of thunder either. Temperatures in the low to mid 70s tomorrow. Scattered showers still around at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. As far as the rain is concerned and the timing of the heavier rain, you'll notice by this graphic here that not much falls overnight. Then as we get closer to dawn, starting to see more rain. So by 7 in the morning, nearly an inch of rain, and then over an inch of rain in many spots by 10 o'clock in the morning. So there's your time frame for the worst rain, probably 4 in the morning until about 10 o'clock in the morning. We also have Tropical Storm Joaquin, which has strengthened. That is expected to become a hurricane. I'll tell you all about that coming up in a few minutes.
All right, Fred, thanks. You got a lot going on. Storm Team 8 is ready to track all these storms as they head across the state. Here are a couple live looks tonight. This is in Hartford. You see some clouds and clearing there. This is New London, cloudy in that part of the state as well. But tomorrow, this could be a very different story. You know, we need the rain, but the big concern is the flooding we could have, especially along the shoreline. Take a look. This is along the seawall here at Party Park in East Haven. Come tomorrow, the water might be coming right over where these guys are fishing there. Storm Team 8 meteorologist Justin Goldstein continues our live team coverage tonight. He's live in East Haven with how you can prepare. Justin?
Yeah, Darren, we just heard from Fred's forecast that it's not just rain, it's a combination of rain and wind, which will be pushing up the tides. You can see right here, we've got Long Island Sound right behind me. It's not only the sound that we're worried about. Seasoned veterans of the area know what to do, but how about newcomers to the shoreline? What is quiet and calm now is forecast to turn unsettled, especially on the shoreline in the coming days. Tidal flooding is a way of life on the marshes of East Haven. Steve Falsigno has had a house for 2 decades and has witnessed his fair share of flooding. He has this advice for new residents of the coast.
Heed the warnings. If they tell you to evacuate the area, they're telling you for a good reason and for safety.
A rainstorm with strong tidal flooding can be just as impactful as a hurricane.
The force of the water is exceptional.
Simply put, you need to ask questions if you're new to the shoreline, renting or owning. Knock on your neighbor's door. Ask about flooding, patterns, plans of action, even questions about where to move your car. Salt water kills.
Our next door neighbors actually just told me that all the small cars around should be moved, and I honestly didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's been several years since we've had a large storm system with strong winds. These winds will continue coming in from the sound, from the ocean for several days. So it's high tide cycle after high tide cycle, and the water won't be all able to get back out. Tell you what, it's not the worst part of it is the sound right here. When you're in a low-lying community like the Cozy Beach section of East Haven, it's the back bays, it's the creeks, and the water floods and comes back in. So that's where we watch our water and our flooding that comes in actually from the marshes. Live in the Cozy Beach section of East Haven, meteorologist Justin Goldstein, News 8.
All right, Justin, thanks. And listen, here's how you can track all of this headed our way. If you haven't done it, check out our Weather Edge website, wxedge.com. This is a look at it live right now. A couple of things happening here. When there are weather alerts, see how they scroll right here on the red bar. And we also have this tracker where you can track the projected path of any storm headed our way. It's all there for you anytime at wxedge.com.
New at 5 o'clock, Finch is out. Bridgeport's mayor dropping out of the mayoral race, no longer seeking re-election.
I want to announce that I'm stepping out of the race for mayor.
This comes after Mayor Bill Finch lost the Democratic primary to former Mayor Joe Ganim. Finch still wanted to be on the November ballot under the Job Creation Party, but the party missed the deadline to endorse him as a candidate. Now, as you just heard, he is dropping out of the race, throwing his support behind another opponent. Coming up at 6, we'll hear much more from Finch, who he's now supporting, and what he says the city of Bridgeport needs in the future.
At the state capitol, Governor Malloy is on the attack tonight. He is fired up about hospitals here in our state.
Yeah, he says they make big money and should have no problem absorbing cuts to the state budget. But since those cuts were announced last week, the hospitals have been complaining. Tonight, Chief Capitol correspondent Mark Davis joins us live with how Governor Malloy is now responding. Mark?
Hi, Aaron and Darren. Good evening, everyone from the Hartford newsroom. For the past week, Governor Malloy has let a spokesperson in his office go after the hospitals, but today he decided to do it himself. Governor Malloy's verbal blast at the hospitals coming 10 days after he announced cuts to Medicaid of about $60 million. The CEOs of some of the hospitals have said that because the funds they get from the state are matched by the federal government, it's actually a much bigger cut and could affect services and cause layoffs. But the governor says the hospitals and their other businesses had big profits last year and can't afford it.
I think the public should know that a not-for-profit or a series of not-for-profits have a total amassed wealth in a single year of $919 million.
The governor also noting that only 3 of the state's hospitals had no profits last year, and the hospitals as a group had profits in the 5 to 6% range every year for the past 3.
You can't be serious in the state of Connecticut about cutting expenditures if you're not willing to put everything on the table.
The governor's office has been pointing to the high 6- and 7-figure salaries of hospital chief executives as an indication they are not holding the line on spending, a claim that has been called a red herring by some. He singled out Yale New Haven in particular, since it's been reported the CEO there is making more than $3 million a year.
Pointing a finger at the state and say, and by the way, you should give us hundreds of millions of dollars more, I don't think there is anything such as a red herring.
In reaction to this, Yale New Haven Healthcare VP of Public Affairs Vin Petrini says in part, quote, the state severely underpays hospitals. In addition, the state now heavily taxes these nonprofits. Executive compensation has no impact on the issue at stake here. Now, you can read the entire statement from Yale New Haven Healthcare by coming to our website, WTNH.com, and clicking on this story. Live from the Hartford newsroom, Mark Davis, News 8.
All right, Mark, thanks. As Mark mentioned, we've got all the information on the state budget numbers, what the governor's planning to cut. If you want to dig into those details, as Mark mentioned, they're there at WTNH.com.
If you're planning a trip to the Submarine Museum at the sub base in Groton, you need to get there before November. The museum and the Nautilus will close in November for maintenance. It's going to be closed for a week and a half, but once it reopens, you can head there to check the exhibits out, all for free.
All right, and still ahead here tonight on News 8, keeping first responders and patients safe. That's coming up with Jocelyn.
I'm Jocelyn Mementa. It is the first in the country. And just ahead, I'll tell you what this is all about.
Plus, Paul Walker's daughter is suing Porsche after he was killed in a car crash. What is she saying the car company did wrong? We'll tell you.
Also, gym clothes that never stink.
Wow.
Yeah, we're going to tell you about a company who says they have come up with clothes that will never smell, even if they're drenched in sweat.
Well, gotta check that out.
Yeah.
And our Storm Team 8 coverage of those storms heading our way continues tonight. What you need to know about the rain and potential flooding and how it might impact your morning commute. And new tonight at 6, new technology added to credit cards, which could be on a card in your wallet right now. We'll tell you what it means for you and for the stores that you shop in.